How you doing today, folks? And welcome to Red Wolf EDC. Now, I did an unboxing of this boots that I was not a huge fan of, so these are already unboxed and ready to go. But from Parkhurst, expect nice, brown box, plenty secure, with a nice little fold-up thing like this. But without any real preamble or anything like that, let's talk about the boots themselves. They will also come in these very nice, high-quality boot bags. Nothing absolutely crazy, but still very, very appreciated. Now, these are in the Blue Depths Rambler leather. First and foremost, like many of the leathers from Parkhurst, Blue Depth is a free-range leather, meaning you will have scarring, slight deviations in texture patterning, different styles, veining, stuff of this nature. There will also be slight different gradations in color. And it's just overall a really genuinely unique thing, to where that this pair of boots will be the only pair of boots quite like it, and your pair of boots, for better or worse, will also be entirely unique to you, which I personally love. So let's talk about what I would call the Reddit part, which is that I'm going to nitpick every little potential flaw in this boot, as far as any type of skips in the leathers, anything that might be considered quality control issues. As always, to be very, very clear, in my humble opinion, a pair of boots is meant to be used, loved. The patina is part of it. It's also a handmade product, so you want it to have those slight deviations. I think that's kind of part of the appeal. If you want something to be copy and paste perfect every single time, maybe buy a pair of Nikes, maybe buy something that's stamped in a factory, something made by hand is going to have its own variations, which is personally something that I absolutely love. But again, there's a subset of our community, right, that wants to nitpick everything. So this is for y'all. And there are zero, first and foremost, skipped stitches at all. There is nothing there. As far as on the actual boot itself, on the sole, everything is very, very clear, clean. On the leather itself, you could theoretically say that this little kind of cut-like thing right there would be a quality control issue. Again, it's part of the leather. You want it to have these individual pieces of character to it. I don't personally care. But as far as any type of skip stitches or anything I would qualify as a potential issue down the road, at least for this boot, I see absolutely nothing. Now, I've tried a few Parkhurst boot, and there is normally little small things here and there, maybe like a slightly crooked stitch or something that's a little missed. That right there could qualify as a quality control issue. Somebody's very nitpicky. Just kind of a bunched up stitch. It's supposed to look like that, but instead looks like that. Just means someone got a little too generous, a little too speedy on the actual machine when they were going about hand stitching these things. And you could definitely argue that being an issue. I don't think this is going to fundamentally alter the performance of the boot at all. And the sole itself is also pretty much perfect. So, about 3 minutes into the video, I'm going to go ahead and take my current boots off, put these on, and show you some on-foot reactions, so you have an idea what it looks like on, well, your feet. All right, so on feet, my immediate impressions are these feel really good. The Parkhurst 602 last in particular is a wider last. It runs towards roughly the E range. So you do have a little bit of movement in the forefoot. I have just a little bit of heel slip, nothing particularly crazy at all. And overall, it is very comfortable. I will say, if you are thinking about picking up a boot in the Parkhurst 602M last, I would personally recommend sizing down roughly a half, maybe even a full size, because it does run relatively wide. However, if you do have wide feet, I think this is a last that will definitely make you very, very happy. This is a Rambler leather, which has a lot of natural waxes and other things of that nature, and will also be kind of a bear to break in. But if you are like me, and frankly most of the community, that break-in is kind of part of the joy. And this cap toe boot, known as the Richmond in Blue Depths Rambler leather, is beautiful, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this breaks in over time. But anyways, let's talk about it. So, the Parkhurst 602M Richmond boot in Blue Depths Rambler retails for $388 with free shipping. Now, that is definitely what I would qualify as a premium boot. Definitely not in the crazy category. You can definitely find things for a lot more money than that. But nearly $400 is definitely a premium product. So in that price range, we're talking about, Trumans and some types of Aldens and just many, many boots. How do I think the Parkhurst boots hold up? Honestly, I really, really like them. First and foremost, the 602M Last is only available in one sizing. But as I said before, that sizing runs towards the single E width. So definitely keep that in mind. It is a wider last, which for me with a wider foot, I absolutely love. If you do not have a wider foot, again, buyer beware. But I think it holds up absolutely fantastically. Now, I compared the Allen boot to the Viberg service boot, in particular the 360 last or 260, something like that. You know what I'm talking about. And I don't think the Richmond definitely qualifies as that. It is a more kind of a more rugged feel to it, which in this Rambler, Blue Depths Rambler leather, I think fits absolutely perfectly. Now, I would not call this a dress boot personally whatsoever, but if you were looking for a more casual focus, but also with a little bit of a rugged edge, a genuinely all-purpose boot, I do think the Richmond is an absolutely fantastic choice. Now, I do have some negatives. I am not a huge fan of this sole. It's a very awkward view. I regret doing that immediately, but let's make it more awkward. I regret choosing this sole. Now, it's very much a me personal preference, right? I happen to prefer the Commando sole, in particular the mini lug sole, the Viper mini lug. I just think it has the perfect balance for utility kind of style, while also being able to blend into multiple different facets for work, for comfort, for casual night on the town, for almost everything that last very much fits into it, or that sole fits into that category. I love the mini lug. I don't have a mini lug from Parkhurst. I have one in the mail right now that I'm looking forward to getting very, very much, but I don't have one yet. However, I would assume I'm going to absolutely love that. However, as far as the sole goes, despite the fact that it looks kind of weird, it does feel very good. I'm sure it will perform just fine over time. But again, this is a first impressions video, not a true and genuine review. So we will find that out eventually. But that is the only thing I might possibly consider to be kind of a negative, because I have other boots with soles similar to this, and I'm not a huge fan of them. But to be fair, I'm also very, very biased towards that Vibram mini lug style sole, so that might just be a me thing. But overall, I am absolutely thrilled with these boots, and I have a feeling that I got a lot more coming eventually from Parkhurst, because I'm really quite into this brand. Andrew is a fantastic person who is the owner, very nice to talk to, very professional, very kind, very accommodating. And I'm into the brand, I'm into the boots, and I have a serious addiction of buying expensive or high-end boots for whatever weird reason. So I will probably be a customer for a long time to come. Also, Grant Stone recently raised their prices. Now they cost more than Parkhurst. So I definitely think my business from Grant Stone is going to transfer over to Parkhurst almost in its entirety, which means, Andrew, get ready for a lot of this face. Because I buy way too many boots. But as always, folks, I love you all. Please take care. Have a fantastic day. And if you are on the fence about getting a pair of boots from Andrew at Parkhurst, I highly, highly recommend these boots. I highly recommend Andrew as a person. I highly recommend that company. But as always, folks, I love you all. Please take care and goodbye.